The sun was just beginning to burn away the morning haze over Valhalla Golf Club, and the tension in the air was thicker than the Kentucky humidity. Charlie Woods, sitting in solo second after 3 blistering rounds, looked calm on the outside. But inside, every swing, every putt, every decision carried the weight of a dream. The U.S. Junior Ryder Cup, one of 2 automatic spots, was still up for grabs, and all he had to do was hold his position. Sounds simple, but in golf, especially with history on the line, nothing ever is. Could this be the moment he finally stepped out of his father's shadow? For 3 days, Woods had been electric. Smooth off the tee, dialed in with his irons, fearless with the putter. The galleries buzzed with every birdie. Reporters whispered about the inevitability of his selection. Fans penciled his name onto the Ryder Cup roster. But golf doesn't respect expectations. The Junior PGA Championship is one of the purest pressure cookers in junior golf, and with Valhalla's tight fairways and treacherous greens, the course doesn't just test your swing, it tests your soul. Would his poise hold for just 18 more holes? The answer came faster than anyone expected. A bogey on 4, another on 6. The swing that looked so loose now seemed rigid. Then came the dagger, a double bogey on the back 9 that drained not just the leaderboard, but the energy from the crowd following him. By the time Woods walked off the 18th green with a 7-4+3, the math was brutal. Solo second had turned into T9, and with it, the automatic Ryder Cup ticket slipped away. Just like that. Could momentum this strong really vanish in a single round? Meanwhile, miles away, in more ways than one, Miles Russell's season-long consistency paid off. Already leading the AJGA points list, Russell didn't need a dramatic finish at Valhalla to secure his spot. His place on the U.S. Junior Ryder Cup team was confirmed the moment Woods stumbled. Russell's smile in the post-round photos told the whole story. While Charlie's dream took a gut punch, Miles's path to Rome was clear. But if you think this was the end of their story, you're wrong. Because for Woods, this wasn't a knockout. It was just the start of a fight he wasn't ready to lose. What comes next could change everything. While Charlie Woods walked away from Valhalla with questions swirling, Miles Russell left the 2025 season with answers, and plenty of them. If Woods' story in Kentucky was one of a sudden collapse, Russell's was the steady climb of a player who seemed born for this stage. Week after week, tournament after tournament, Russell didn't just contend, he closed. As the AJGA points leader, he'd built a resume so airtight that one bad week couldn't touch it. His worst finish in months was still better than most players' best. This wasn't a hot streak, it was a statement. And statements like that don't go unnoticed in Ryder Cup selection rooms. Could Woods ever match that level of consistency in time? The numbers don't lie. Russell's season included top finishes in the AJGA's flagship events, a runner-up at the Northeast Amateur, and steady, pressure-proof rounds in every junior major he touched. When the RyderCup.com announcement dropped Russell and asterisk tally to lead Team USA, it felt less like news and more like confirmation of what everyone already knew. This wasn't just about his swing mechanics or course management, it was the way he carried himself. Calm, calculated, always in control. In junior golf, that's the difference between being a name in the field and being the name on the trophy. But what happens when the calm gets challenged? His new role as co-leader with Tally only amplified the spotlight. The media hailed them as the future of U.S. junior golf, the duo set to bring dominance back to the Stars and Stripes. That kind of label can be both a crown and a target. For Russell, it meant respect. For Woods, it meant the bar had just been raised, and dramatically. To earn a captain's pick now, he couldn't just play well. He had to play better than the guy already carrying the flag. Could Russell's presence be the fuel Charlie needed? The irony? While Russell's seat on the team is locked, his grip on the role of undisputed leader might not be. Golf history is full of sure things undone by a single inspired run from someone with nothing to lose. Woods' road just got steeper, but in sports, steep climbs make for the best stories. And the next battleground for both players was already looming on the calendar. Would Russell keep the crown, or would Charlie start prying it loose at Sawgrass? For Charlie Woods, the days after Valhalla weren't about licking wounds, they were about sharpening weapons. The disappointment of missing the automatic Ryder Cup spot could have been the chapter that defined his 2025 season. Instead, it became the catalyst. Close friends said he was back at the range within 48 hours, grinding through practice sessions that stretched until the last rays of daylight. This wasn't just about fixing a swing flaw or fine-tuning a putting stroke, it was about proving to himself and to everyone else that Kentucky was an exception, not the rule. Redemption wasn't a concept, it was a deadline. And the clock was already ticking. Would he hit zero before the Ryder Cup roster locked? That deadline came with a name, the Junior Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass. Known for its island greens, swirling winds, and unforgiving sightlines, Sawgrass doesn't allow passengers. You either command the course or it drowns you. More importantly, it was one of the last major stages before the U.S. Junior Ryder Cup selectors finalized their picks. For Charlie, it wasn't just another tournament, it was a proving ground. Every hole, every shot, every fist pump would be judged in the shadow of the Ryder Cup conversation. Could he turn a Florida fairway into his personal courtroom? And here's where the drama tightens. Miles Russell would be there too. Same fairways, same pin positions, same gallery. Only difference? One of them was already wearing the unofficial captain's crown, the other was fighting for a seat at the table. This was more than a leaderboard battle, it was about rewriting the story Russell had been starring in all season. If Woods could outplay him here, it would plant a seed of doubt in every selector's mind. Maybe the uncontested leader wasn't so uncontested after all. Could 1 week at Sawgrass dismantle months of dominance? The stakes couldn't be clearer. For Woods, this wasn't about a paycheck, a trophy, or even bragging rights. It was about changing the conversation, flipping it from Russell's team to who's leading this team. And in golf, perception can be as powerful as performance. The fairways of Sawgrass were set. The wind was unpredictable, and Charlie Woods was walking in with one mission: to make the Ryder Cup selectors question everything they thought they knew. The opening tee shot was coming. The question was, whose story would it start? Strip away the headlines, the hype, and the slow-motion highlight reels, and golf comes down to cold, unforgiving numbers. On paper, Charlie Woods' 2025 has had moments of brilliance. His breakthrough victory at the AJGA Team TaylorMade Invitational, where he posted a blistering final round to seal the title. The back-to-back 66-second that launched him into second place at the Junior PGA Championship before the final round stumble. These are the peaks that turn heads. But they're also the kind of peaks separated by long valleys, stretches, where the scoreboard told a different story. The pattern is clear. Woods can catch lightning, but can he bottle it? That's the question selectors can't stop asking. On the other side of the ledger sits Miles Russell, and his numbers read like a metronome. No missed cuts, no collapses. Multiple top 5 finishes across the AJGA schedule, capped by a runner-up at the Northeast Amateur against one of the deepest junior fields of the year. His season is defined not by single flashes, but by a relentless beat of high finishes and steady scoring averages. You don't have to wonder what you're going to get from Russell. You already know. In team golf, that kind of predictability is gold. But what happens when predictability meets pressure? That's where the stat tension builds. Woods' best golf has a higher ceiling. His win at the Team TaylorMade Invitational would have beaten most pro-level fields in raw score. Russell's ceiling might be lower, but his floor is solid concrete. Ryder Cup captains have to weigh that balance. Do you take the player who can produce a match-winning performance out of nowhere, or the one who never gives it away? It's a choice between volatility and certainty. Which one wins in September? And here's why it matters. In match play, mental toughness matters as much as mechanics. A player who can spike under pressure can tilt a match in your favor. But a player who never dips keeps the scoreboard steady. The captains will be watching Sawgrass like hawks, knowing that one data point one weekend could tip the scale. For Woods, the numbers say inconsistent, but the right numbers at the right time could erase that label forever. The question is, will Sawgrass give him those numbers or bury him under Russell's stats sheet? All roads now lead to TPC Sawgrass. And for Charlie Woods, this isn't just another event, it's the make or break moment of his 2025 season. If he storms into Florida and posts a top finish, the conversation changes overnight. The Ryder Cup captain, currently leaning toward a safe, Russell-led roster, would be forced to pause. A win or even a high podium at Sawgrass wouldn't just be a good result, it would be an undeniable message. Leave me off this team at your own risk. The kind of result that makes selectors rewrite lineups. But to get there, he'll have to take his best golf from the range and let it survive the fire of competition. Will that fire burn him or burn for him? On the flip side, if Miles Russell does what he's done all year, post another top finish, and hold his ground, he cements his status as the undisputed leader of Team USA. That scenario leaves little oxygen for Woods' campaign. Russell's steady hand and proven results would allow the captain to stick with the safe pick, knowing his anchor player can deliver. For Woods, watching that unfold from anywhere but inside the ropes in Rome would sting, because it wouldn't just mean missing the team, it would mean watching the narrative lock into place without him. Can he really stomach that? The stakes run deeper than one tournament or even one Ryder Cup cycle. This is about identity. The player who emerges from Sawgrass as the stronger of the two will shape the tone for the next era of US junior golf. Will it be Russell's era of relentless consistency, or could it become Woods' era of fearless surges and high-voltage moments? For the captain, the decision isn't just about filling a spot, it's about choosing which style defines the team's future. Whose DNA do you want in the locker room? Woods' dream is still alive, but survival isn't the goal. To keep it, he must take the fight to Russell, hole after hole, shot after shot. No safe swings, no holding back, no hoping for someone else to stumble. At Sawgrass, every blade of grass will tell the story. And by the time the last putt drops, the fate of the Ryder Cup roster, and perhaps the next chapter of US junior golf, will be decided. The only question is, whose name will history remember first?